And we are back on the 90s podcast hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson, founder and CEO of Non-Negotiables Capital Group. Thank you guys for joining me. As I always say, subscribe to the channel. As I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. You have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at info@nonnegotiablesgroup.com. Send us your questions. Go to the website at www.nonnegotiablesgroup.com. Schedule your appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, engage, and also entertain. Follow us on all social media channels at Non-Negotiables or at MLB to CFP. And subscribe to the new Substack. Now what? Today, we're talking about ownership, sacrifice, and scaling, and what it actually means to win in business. And today, I'm bringing on my man, Derrick Kinney. He's a speaker, he's a coach, he's a former financial advisor, and he's a voice in this industry. Derrick, welcome to the show. Let's get it. We have my man Derrick Kinney on the call today. I've been trying to get you on the podcast. We've been crossing paths, whether it be at Future Proof. You've been doing your thing at all these different events, and I want to say, first of all, how excited I am to have you on the podcast for you to be on the show today. But how proud I am, man, of just the things that. The shows you've been on, the stages you've been on, and the venues you have given knowledge to, the advisors you've given knowledge to. It's just been a wonderful transition from the advisor role to the coaching role, man. And I appreciate that.
I mean, what do I say to that? I mean, it's funny because I want to brush it off and say, thanks, Kevin. But I really want to take it in and say that means a lot. That means a lot coming from you. And you know how hard the work is, but I admire you so much. And to hear you say that just means a lot to me. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
Hey, well, I got a little bit of a COVID cough, so I'm going to do my best to, I mean, again, I don't know how I got it. I was at this event in Dallas, but that's an aside, but
okay, that's another episode.
Yeah, it's another episode, but from the books you've written to the stages you've played, I mean, it's been magical, and you've done a lot for not only just your own personal business, but for advisors. So let's just start there.
Sure.
The advisor journey that you took, and we're not going to spend too much time on it, but let's just start when you built your practice to the sell, like the journey. What should an early advisor expect, like day one to the day of the sell, just quickly, because again, you and I both know the door knocking, the calls, just the trials and tribulations from not making much money at all to like, oh, finally I'm making some money, to how am I going to grow this thing? Tell me your path in this, and we'll get to the sell here in a second.
Yeah. So I took 6 years to finish my 4-year degree, was working full time during college. You can relate to that. And I went to work for a small software company in Fort Worth, and I realized there was this critical moment, Kevin, for me where I'm either going to settle for someone else telling me my value, which was like a 2 to 3% raise, or I'm going to put the chips on Derrick and bet on myself.
Yeah.
And what led to that was my boss would routinely call us on Friday or email us and say, hey, by the way, Saturday is a work day. We've got important stuff to do. I have to call my wife, and she was disappointed. I was embarrassed. You know, here I am in this job where I can't even have the weekends free. And then at this job, he actually bounced my paycheck twice. So imagine giving your tithing or your gift donation to the church, and I got to call the pastor, hey, got another hot check coming your way. It was just embarrassing,
Yeah.
And so I realized if I was going to do it, now was the time. And so I was 26. I looked like I was 13, and I was like, who's going to invest with a guy like this?
Hey, you still look like you're 26, by the way. You look good.
Thank you. But I had a passion for supporting local education. And so I went back to my local high school with a $50 Amazon gift card for the teacher and a $25 Amazon gift card for the student. And I began to present a Teacher and a Student of the Month award, because when I was in high school, nobody successful ever came back and gave us a vision or any hope of what the future could look like. It was And so I didn't think much about it, but I got to breathe life into these teachers and tell the students, hey, you've got a great future, you've got a great promise in front of you. And it was just encouraging. Like I felt really sky high when I left. Well, I began to get some phone calls. And what a woman said to me, Kevin, completely changed how I ran my business. She said,
Mm.
Derrick, we see you in the newspaper and you're recognizing teachers and students, and we like that. We'd like for you to be our financial advisor.
Right.
And
Okay.
I was so young and naive. I said, why? Which is what you should not say, by the way. That'd be one
Yeah.
lesson there.
Yeah.
But she said, we want to work with you because you care about what we care about. You care about what we care about.
Hmm.
And Kevin, it was like in that moment, this weight lifted off my shoulders. And it was like, wait a minute, I didn't have to be the best looking or the most knowledgeable or have all the contacts. I just had to care about what the people I wanted to work with cared about. And she and her husband became my first $1 million client. And then we began to get a lot of other $1 million clients because I learned that most people with money, they want to be involved in the community, they want to be active,
Hmm.
but what they really want is to work with professionals and advisors who are involved in the community. It gives them status to feel like by working with you, I'm making a difference and I'm part of something bigger. And that
Well,
was the unlock for me that started everything.
I'm going to go back here because you said you gave them some Amazon gift cards.
Uh-huh.
I said, man, if you're a financial advisor, you should give him a piece of Amazon stock. It'd have been way more valuable.
I would have had
So,
this trail of millionaire students.
no, man, that's awesome because you just mentioned it. Getting out to the community. So many advisors want to do all the social media stuff. They want to get trending
Yeah.
and they don't even know their neighbor, right?
Right, right, right.
Oh my God. And that's powerful right there. It's being in the community, expressing yourself in the community. And I've been working on that. I'm trying to get better at it. And I've been doing my Friday fives and things like that about, hey, start next door. Don't worry about trying to trend on social media. And
Yes.
that's a great point right there.
Hmm. Well, it's one thing I learned. I think I was so naive in the sense that, look, I'm so young, but I'm willing to try different things.
Mhm.
And I did that just because I had a passion for it. And I realized that people purchase passion.
Yeah.
They like when you are involved in something. But one of the misnomers is that I've got to give $10,000 to the symphony. I've got to make this huge $50,000 donation. That's really what charitable giving is all about.
Yeah.
And what I realized was $75 a month was helping me bring in millionaire clients,
Uh-huh.
but it was because I was helping recognize teachers. And so the other unlock I had was teachers were not my target market. Because someone might say, well, Derek, why would you recognize teachers? You don't want them as clients. I mean, not that I wouldn't take them, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the fit for me. What I realized though is wealthy people like people who help pursue education and they help make their communities better. So by recognizing teachers, it attracted wealthier people who cared about education and teachers. And so
There
when
you
you
go.
can put lock things together, it becomes more congruent on how you can grow. But what I tell advisors is, listen, if you want to work with first responders, then start a First Responder of the Month award, or an
Mhm.
Entrepreneur or Business Owner of the Month award, or a Women Entrepreneur of the Month award, or a military. You can go whatever you want to go. The key is when you're doing something and people see you engage on a regular basis, it just draws them to you like a magnet.
Yeah. Yeah. Fascinating because, again, like I said, a lot of us don't necessarily focus on the things that are right in front of you, and we focus on everything else that's the glitz and the glamour.
Yeah.
And that's not glamorous, right? I mean, it's not sexy, but it works. And you're absolutely right with that. So you built your firm, and the toughest part for most of us is, okay, what are we gonna do when this thing's built up? When are we gonna sell? So what drove that decision for you to sell your practice? And then talk to me about like the how all of that went, like the process around it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was with Ameriprise Financial and
Okay.
very much operated like an independent advisor within
Mhm.
Ameriprise. I was very supported and I was a big fee based advisor. I just had this mantra that no fee, no me.
Hey,
No fee, no me.
that's me right there.
Yeah, and what I realized was that when you're a professional, people expect and they want to work with specialists.
Hmm.
So for example, if you needed to have a delicate medical procedure done on your heart, let's say, would you be more likely to want to go to the general practitioner who knows a little bit about a lot, or would you want to go to the heart specialist who all they worked on was hearts 24/7?
True.
You
Yeah.
want to go to the heart specialist.
The heart,
And,
of
and so and
course.
so what I tell advisors is you want to be the specialist in your local community because we know three things are true about specialists. Number one, let's say today, let's say it's Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
Would you expect to get in to see the heart specialist at 9 o'clock today? No, there'd be a wait, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And then based on your insurance, you probably have to pay more for the specialist. And then you'd go to the specialist with a mentality of, I'm going to listen to every word she says. Whatever
Hmm.
she says, I'm going to do. You come in expectant to do what the specialist says. And so one of the things I learned, and I learned this late, was that I needed to specialize. And so what I began to specialize in was retirement income planning.
Okay.
Most of my clients were about 5 to 10 from retirement or in retirement, and that was a hot button for them. How do I recreate my paycheck in retirement?
Hmm.
And so I would go on a yearly sabbatical, and I took about 5 days completely by myself to think and pray and journal. And Kevin, there were three questions I asked that guided my time. Number one, how can I be a better father? Number two, how can I be a better husband? And number three, how can I be a better business owner? So those were the three things that I really focused on and really wanted to get a game plan because I realized I had a problem, and that was I would run really, really fast toward things I liked. The
Yeah.
problem I found was without a plan, I could run really fast in a circle
Ugh.
and end up exactly where I started. And I was like, this is frustrating. And so what I realized was I needed to take 1 week out of the year to get focused on what I'm going to run the other 51 weeks really fast toward. Okay. So I'm at the W Hotel in Boston. I like to be by the water.
Yeah.
This was July of 2019. And I began to make a list. I wrote a list of all the things I would like to do for Derek 2.0. What's the next version of me? And I wrote down crazy stuff like write a book, launch a
Check.
podcast,
Check.
coach, speak, consult. Could I take the recurring revenue of my financial planning business, and if I sold it, could I build another business with a recurring revenue model? So all of those things I would enjoy, but shockingly, what wasn't on the list was being a financial advisor.
Wow.
That's when I knew that. I mean, literally within 30 minutes of my sabbatical, I'm like, oh, so I need to sell. And what guided me to that was I mean, you've reached the heights of baseball. So when you watch a favorite athlete, there's typically that end of their career where many people think, man, he or she should have retired. They
Yeah.
should have left when things were really good.
Hmm.
I didn't want to be that person
Yeah.
because I couldn't do that to my team and my clients and my family and me. And I realized, okay, if it is to be, it is up to me. I've got to make this change. But what I didn't do was I didn't say, here's what I'm selling and moving to. I just said, you know what? If I did it once, if I could build a business, I could sell it and I could do it again. I had that level of
Mm.
confidence in myself. And so I sold it knowing good things are going to happen, but I just don't know what the good things are going to be.
I like the idea. When I talk to a lot of people about succession and selling businesses, some of them are like, I'm going to stay in this seat until I'm no longer able to walk or whatever like that. And
Right.
and and you don't want to get to that space, but you said something in there about running in a circle.
Yeah.
And sometimes like I'm not a planner. Like yeah, maybe I am deep down in my head, but I'm just this is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna do it, and let's just get it done. Because the elixir of our business is revenue, right? Like it's just, I mean, let's just call it what it is. And I back everything into, okay, if I need these type of revenue numbers, how am I going to get it? Is it this many clients I need a monthly basis? How often do I need to reach out? How many prospects do I need in the pipeline to get this X, Y, or Z? And maybe I am planning to a degree, but I like what you said there because you basically said, hey, what does this look like? Well, none of it says financial planning. Well, that means I need to sell. So when you talk about selling, that transition from doing something for like what, 15 years? How long were you an advisor
Well,
for?
25 years. Yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
And it was tough for me. Like I was playing baseball for like 15 years, 20 years, and then be able to walk away. Talk to me about that transition. Like, man, I've been doing this. Now I'm gonna be a coach. How was that transition for you?
Well, there were a couple of elements. I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
So we moved to the Dallas Fort Worth area from Buffalo, New York, when I was in the sixth grade. Okay,
You get your boots. You get
guys,
boots and
I need
boots
to get
hat.
some.
There you go.
But that was serious snow up there. Here the threat of snow, and then they shut the whole thing down. They're prepared up there.
Yeah.
So so I have a dentist. His name is Dr. Hilton.
Hmm.
And so I go to this dentist from the sixth grade all the way through college. And he becomes more like a mentor to me. It's not just cleaning my teeth, but we talk about business and money and entrepreneurship. And I actually look forward to going to the dentist, okay? As
Yeah.
crazy as that sounds. So one day I'm in the dentist chair, and at the end of the appointment, he says, "Hey, Derek, I need to tell you this is the last time I'm going to see you."
Wow. Okay.
What? He said, "Well, I'm retiring. I'm selling my business to another dentist." And it felt like I was grieving the loss of someone who died.
Yeah.
And that just stuck with me. And so years later, when I decided to sell my business, the first thought I had was, I don't want to make people feel like Dr. Hilton inadvertently made me feel as his patient.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, the way to do that is I'm going to call personally each of my clients ahead of time and let them know how much I appreciate them, what I'm doing, because my goal was never to hand off, it was to hand up.
Okay.
And what I found, Kevin, was selling my business was almost like the biggest act of humility that I could have because I prided myself, I sold myself, I branded myself as the best financial advisor in the local area.
Yeah, you
But
gotta feel that way. You gotta feel like you. It's just like when I play sports. You have to feel like you're the best, even
got
though.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but what I realized though was if I was going to have integrity and be legit, I needed to find somebody who was better than me to sell my practice to so that I could
Okay.
hand my clients up to. Because
Interesting.
my goal was 12 months from now, if I'm having coffee with my clients, I want them to say, Derek, we loved working with you, but we really like so and so. And
Hmm.
I'm like, well, that really sucks. But that's what it has to be if I'm going to have integrity and make
Gotcha.
sure my clients are well taken care of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
So
sense.
I didn't see that coming, but I sensed that very, very quickly. So as I would call each of my clients, it was like I was pressing a button and all of our life's experience on this video screen played back.
Mm-hmm.
The marriages, the deaths, the graduations, the hitting seven figures, all the key parts of their lives. And most people were happy for me. Some
Mm-hmm.
people, two people actually cussed me out because they
Wow.
said, Derek, you promised that you wouldn't retire before we feel like you're letting us down. And so, I mean, they eventually calmed down, but it was just the rawness of the emotion.
Yeah.
And one lady, though, said it best. She said, Derek, very thoughtfully, if you're going to have a midlife crisis, just buy a Corvette. It's a whole lot cheaper. But in all transparency and being vulnerable with you, Kevin,
Yeah.
it took about a month and a half. Man, I still get emotional thinking about it.
Yeah.
The last call I made, literally, I began to cry
Hmm.
because it was like the pressure just, all those memories, all those emotions, all that work of, because as advisors, we don't leave our clients at the door at 5 o'clock.
Mm-mm.
Like I talked to a pilot friend of mine recently, and he said, Derek, I have a very low stress job. And I said, what? He said, yeah, once I get in the plane and I do the pre-flight checklist and we fly and we land, I can forget about that flight. I have no more responsibility.
Mm.
I'm like, dude, clients of mine, I carry with them in my head like mental baggage 24/7.
Oh
All
my
of us
God.
do. It's because it's
Yeah.
why we care so much.
Yeah.
And so that's why that moment when I made the last phone call, it felt like, I could leave well because I wanted to make sure they felt valued and important because they were to me.
It's interesting because people don't understand how much we do care. I mean, I know we say leave the work at work, and some people on LinkedIn and all that stuff, they'll say that, oh, you can't call me after 5. Nah, man. That's not my There's some serious stuff going on. Like I have clients who have deaths in the family. They want to call me right now, or they'll say, Kevin, I forgot to do this. I need to get this done. We're servants, man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And okay, gotcha. What does Saturday, Sunday? What about work-life balance? I have a good work-life balance. I spend a lot of time with myself, with my kid. I do. I the reason why we can spend so much time with our family is because these people trust us.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? And and if that's me, having to do something that may take me 14, 15, 20 minutes on a weekend, so be it. But
Yeah,
it's not like they're interrupting my time because they've given me the ability to have more time with my family.
right.
I get very frustrated when I see people that are really adamant about this is my calendar. They need to respect it. I'm like, hey man, to each their own. Run your business
Right,
the way you
right.
want to run it. I'm not running it. That's not my business model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I find is, and you tell me if you agree or disagree on this,
Yeah.
what I find is that the more successful people get, their mentality changes in the sense that it's very switch and link. In other words, today would be, as we record this, it's a normal work day.
Yeah.
But let's say I need to go run an errand, or I want to help my wife with something and do so. There's this congruency. There's this flux that happens all together. And for example, I was on the phone with somebody at 8 o'clock. This was earlier this week at night, and we did a business deal together that came together at 8 o'clock at night. Well, that's after hours, Derek. You shouldn't be doing that. No, this is just how business works. But my wife wasn't stressed about it. I wasn't stressed about it. It's just the flow of what's happening. So I think when people embrace the flow and not the curfew of after 5 o'clock, that's really not realistic for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
1,000%, man. And I'm right there with you on that. I congruency, business flow, it all works the same. Um, I'm gonna admit we've all made some mistakes in business. I mean, but the mistakes, you know what? They're not mistakes, they're learning opportunities, right? That you would call them learning opportunities.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest mistakes you see advisors making when they're building a business? One thing I'm going to say is I think one of the biggest mistakes is the shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, and that was me. I was like, you know what? I got to battle against the Merrills and all the other stuff in the world, all the other big firms in the world. So I got to have everything because I know that they're going to want everything from these other top tier firms. So I got to have everything. And next thing you know, you're paying for something that you're never using. What do you
Right.
say to that?
Well, there's a couple of big mistakes, and the biggest one I find
Mhm.
is that most advisors believe their superpower is in the features and benefits of the products and services they sell.
Yeah.
They believe that that is the differentiator. That's what's going to cause clients to work with them. And what I tell them is, nope, that makes you a commodity.
Yeah.
Most people these days assume you have a suite of products,
Mhm.
B, they're good products, and C, they assume you know what you're doing. So those are
Mhm.
table stakes. And so this was a mistake that I made, and it was a problem I had that I had to do something about. So when I was a younger advisor, when I would be in a social setting, for example, Kevin, and people would say, "Hey, Derek, what do you do?" And I would say, "I'm a financial advisor." Oh, people's
Big
eyes
mistake.
glazed over. They start to walk backwards. They murmur, "I've already got enough insurance." I mean, it
Yeah.
got ugly fast. You can
Yeah.
picture this, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so when I would go to social settings, I would like cringe. Oh my gosh, don't ask me what I do. Don't ask me what I do. And I
Yeah.
would quickly master asking them questions really fast.
Yeah.
But what I realized was that didn't lead to anything. I asked good questions and I listened, but they didn't know the problem that I could solve for them. So,
Okay.
from a professional standpoint, I was literally of no value to them to improve their lives.
Okay.
And so, because of that, I began to test something and it began to work really, really well for me. And now it's something I teach to advisors and entrepreneurs all around the country. And so let me give you an example here,
Hmm.
Kevin. So let's say that you're at a social event and here in the local area, you've got your favorite beverage in your hand, you're mingling around the room,
Hmm.
and a man approaches you and says, "Hey, Kevin, what do you do?" And you
Hmm.
say, "Oh, I'm a financial advisor." He says, "Oh, okay." And you ask him, "Well, what do you do?" And he says, "Well, I'm a personal trainer. I design workout and eating plans so people can get into shape." And
Hmm.
you ask a few other questions and have a conversation, and then meet a few other people. Well, toward the end of the night, a woman approaches you and she asks, "Hey, what do you do?" And you say, "Well, I'm a financial advisor." And she says, "Oh, okay." And you ask her, "What do you do?" And she says, "You know how busy business owners and founders, they often put others' needs above their own, so their
Hmm.
health takes a back seat? We customize eating and workout plans so they can feel good, but most importantly, so they can look great. And one day they can be the cool grandparent that has the energy to chase their grandkids across the floor. We specialize in workout and eating plans for busy professionals." Pause. Now, 1 week goes by, Kevin, and you look in the mirror and you say to yourself, "I think I need a personal trainer." Who would you call?
Yeah,
Trainer
I
number
got you.
one or trainer number two?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Well,
call the
I
one.
guess it depends on what they really look like too. So I don't know.
Right, 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 right,
No, but you're right.
right.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And so let me ask you now, let me ask you two questions and I want
Hmm.
to watch how you respond to this.
Okay.
Kevin, number one, you know how it feels like when you take your car to the mechanic, you're either getting taken advantage of or overcharged?
Yeah.
Yeah. You said, yeah, your head's nodding. Okay. Second of all, picture two moms and they each have a teenage daughter. And one mom says to the other mom, "You know how it feels like when you talk to your daughter, what you say goes in one ear and right out the other, and she gives you
Hmm.
the eye roll?"
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was instant. So in either of those questions or those scenarios, did you have to burn any brain cells to understand what I was talking about?
I like where you're going there. Yeah,
Okay.
I see what you're saying. No, we
Yeah.
didn't burn any brain cells, but it was just like you're getting people to acknowledge
Yeah.
positive affirmation. Yeah, I love it, man. That's
Yeah.
good.
So I,
Yeah.
I call this my you know how framework.
Hmm.
So when you say, so Kevin, what do you do? I could say financial advisor, wealth advisor, dream funder, whatever you want to go with. But people have a mental checklist of what that means to them. And now the words you said are being evaluated by in their mind what they think. So you're
Hmm.
fighting this losing battle that you have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
So instead, when you say, you know how so many people they worry about running out of money in retirement, we help fix that. Oh, or you know how so many hardworking professionals they make good money, but they feel like they're falling further behind.
Yeah.
We help fix that. Or you know how doctors are great with their patients, but their finances are out of control? We help them fix that. You see, when you say something instantly relatable, it requires no burning of brain cells. People say, "Yes, tell me more about that." So you know you're on the right track when people lean in and say, "Now, what do you do? Are you a?" Then they're asking you if you're a financial advisor. So the whole point of the you know how framework is it connects with an instantly relatable pain point. And what I tell people is when you tell someone something new, they don't always know what to do. But when you
Hmm.
tell someone something true, it draws them closer to you. So when you say an instantly relatable pain point, for example, here's one that was very interesting to me. I got a call from a panicked financial advisor a few months
Okay.
ago. He said, "Eric, I've got this 24-year-old advisor. She's struggling to attract high net worth clients. Can you help?" And so I jumped on a coaching call with her and I asked, "Tell me what's happening." She said, "Derek, it's like when I talk to people, I feel judged by them." She said, it's like they're saying to themselves, "Are you even old enough to invest money?" And it was crushing her confidence. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
we
they could
began to
probably feel
craft.
that. They could probably feel that, right?
Yes, it was going
Yeah.
both ways, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I said, "Well, who are the types of clients that you like to work with in the firm?" And they said, "Well, we really focus on business owners and founders." So we
Hmm.
began to craft some language and we put together a you know how framework for her. So she calls me back about a week later with what we had practiced and she had an event coming up. She said, "Derek, you're not going to believe this." So here's what happened. So she's at this event. A guy she thinks was probably maybe 55 years old
Hmm.
asks her, "Hey, what do you do?" And in that moment, she's like, "Oh, okay, just do what Derek said to say. Don't say financial advisor." And she said, you know how busy business owners and founders, what keeps them awake at night is the fact that they've built such a great business, but they're worried their kids are not going to know what to do with it,
Hmm.
or they built up all this wealth and their kids are going to spend it all and not know how to manage it. We help fix that.
Wow.
She said, Derek, the guy was stunned. He was like, what did you say? That's exactly what keeps me awake at night. And she said, well, the reason why they brought me in, I'm probably the youngest person here at the firm, is because I specialize in helping train business owners and founders' kids how to handle those business issues and how to manage money well. And also, I'm really good with technology. That person became a client of the firm a week later. And what we
Hmm.
learned was what that CEO thought was the intention of that 24-year-old advisor was to directly attract business owners and founders. The real issue was connecting with a pain point that those business owners and founders instantly understood. I want my kids to be prepared to take over my business and my money. So when you say what a person is thinking, it automatically makes you feel more empathetic and caring and trustworthy.
I feel like you've done this a time or two. You're so good at presenting your points. I love this stuff. You've written a book about growing the business and doing all these things. Like again, I am going to get to that book. I promise you.
No
I'm
worries,
just
man.
no, I'm just in a different mindset right now. I'm in a socioeconomic, sociological endeavor to learn all these other things about different countries and just it's a long story, but I'm going to get back to the financial side of things eventually. And I promise you, your book is it's right here, actually. It's on my reading list. I got two
I
more
appreciate that.
questions for you, Derek,
Yeah, of
because
course.
this has been a phenomenal insight into your mind, your practice, and how you're building your coaching practice. What are some of the non-negotiables if you're building your practice? What are some of the non-negotiables you must have to get right early when building your business?
Well, two things. Number one is to identify what are your 5 weekly KPIs.
Hmm.
What are your 5 weekly key performance indicators that by doing those consistently will drive you to your goals? Okay, you got to know what those 5 things are. It might be I need to make a certain number of calls, ask for referrals, call a certain number of COIs, whatever that may be. But then the key to unlock that magic is you've got to time block time to work on those 5 KPIs on Friday before the next week.
Okay.
Because once you roll into Monday, all bets are off. How
Hmm.
many of you, I mean, your listeners ask themselves now, you get to Friday and you wonder, man, what did I get done this week?
Yeah.
I mean, you were busy, you saw a
Yeah.
lot of people, a lot of activity, but did the activity lead to the growth and the goals that you want? Okay, so that's number one. Number two, one thing I learned earlier was be quick to fall on the sword. And here's what I
Hmm.
mean by that. When I worked with an attorney, well, I'll call it an attorney. We'll leave it general.
Yeah.
And we're working to do some work. And this attorney raised their hourly rate without telling me. One time they actually said, Derek, you need to be a better student of the law. You need to better understand what we're doing here so you can ask better questions.
Huh.
And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm the client paying you. And there was an issue that came up where in our office, we missed a trade for a client. Okay.
Hmm.
And an advisor said, Derek, don't worry about it. Don't tell the client. They won't even know. And I said,
Oh,
no, they'll know. They always know.
yeah.
And most importantly, I always know. Okay.
Yeah.
So I called the client and said, hey, I've got to tell you, we made a mistake and here's what happened. And just so you know, it's going to cost me personally probably $3,000. What? I
Hmm.
said, no, this is how it works. I said, we told you we'd make the trade. We're going to make it whole to you. I'm going to personally have to cover some of this through the company. Just wanted you to know how much we value you as a client, and we're going to get it taken care of. Okay.
Hmm.
So when I told this story to people, they're like, Derek, that was dumb. You should have not told the client at all. I said, no. What happened was By doing that, I felt embarrassed about it, but I knew it was the right thing to do.
Hmm.
She then, I thought we were going to lose her. She became one of our top referral sources. She's like,
Integrity.
Derrick, if you're faithful in the small things and you're upfront like this, I want my friends to work with you. And so what it taught me was so many times most professionals don't take responsibility for their mistakes.
Hmm.
They typically would, well, Kevin, that was if I'm talking to the client, well, that's your fault. You should have let me know this. And it's like, no, what I find is I just quickly say, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I want to apologize for this. Tell me what happened. We're going to make this right. And when you
Hmm.
lean in with that, it just endears people to you because nobody these days takes responsibility. I know
Oh
it's
my God.
risky. People listening are thinking, well, Derek, what if it really wasn't my mistake? Well, and what I often will tell people is never promise the client that you have the power to resolve anything. Like
Hmm.
never ever say the words, we're going to get this taken care of for you. I'm going to fix this. You never want to guarantee an outcome. Instead, you want to say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk alongside you through this process.
Hmm.
I want to do everything I can to help get this resolved for you. I can't control it, but I'm going to be with you every step of the way. That way
Hmm.
they know that you're in it together with them, but you're not controlling the outcome for them.
100%. I like that. And I've come across that a couple of times where there's a trade error or something that didn't even cost the client anything.
Right.
I'll go in and say, hey, I just want to let you know on your statement, you're going to see this. Nothing, there's no financial issue with it, but ultimately, I just want you to be aware. Oh, and by the way, a majority of my clients won't even notice these things. I just go out, I'm forthright with it. And I think that's, like you said, that's where referrals come in. Integrity is powerful. I got one more question for you, Mr.
You bet. You bet.
Derrick. You sent me something earlier this week about plateauing, like those advisors that make 300,000 a year or $500,000 a year, and a lot of them will say, you know what, I'm just comfortable, I'm good, but it's because they know they can't grow anymore.
Right.
They're just like, oh, I don't want to grow anymore. It's not that they don't want to grow anymore. It's just that they can't, right? So what do you say for those who are just plateaued at the $300,000 level, the $500,000 level, that want to go higher, but they know they're lying to themselves and say, you know what, I don't want to grow anymore. How can you get those advisors, or what would you tell those advisors that should be growing but aren't?
Well, I'm a big goal setter,
Mhm.
okay? And even with our family, we do family goal setting. And my kids used to, if they knew cuss words when they were younger, they would have used all of them on me. But so, and I so when I coach advisors and entrepreneurs now, what I find is a lot of people that might be stuck at 300, 500. Some of them got to the million, now they're stuck at 2 million. Everybody has these moments where they grow and then they get frustrated. And then
Yeah.
they want to grow and then they have enhanced frustration. And so it's that moment there where I'm able to come in. Here's what I find works. Okay. You've got to figure out what motivates you. So, what I tell my clients is until the pain is great, the change does not occur.
1,000%.
Until the pain is great, the change does not occur. Now, you can say, well, I'm going to be motivated. Well, motivation only gets you so far. So, what I ask people to do is write down a couple of things. Number one, what is the goal of what income or revenue level do you want to get to?
Hmm.
So if you're at 500, you want to get to a million. Well, now it's a math problem, not an income problem. So we have a math problem to figure out how do we get the answer to be 500,000. Well, now we
Hmm.
can backtrack into the activities it will take for you to do that. And what I find is by using my you know how framework, it dramatically speeds up the rate by which people attract clients,
Hmm.
and they can teach their team to do the same thing because team members get asked, what do you do all the time? And it's a way to take some of the pressure off the owner of the firm to not have to feel like I've got to bring in all the clients myself. Okay, that's
Yep.
that's very, very important. But then thinking about what is at stake if you don't achieve your goal. What terrible, no good, very bad thing can happen. And you want to write down the things you're going to miss out on.
Hmm.
How will it impact your kids negatively? How will it impact your family? How will it impact the life? And when you look in the mirror at night, will you feel like that is the best version of Kevin. That's the best version of Derrick. Or will you be disappointed? I don't want that for you. And the reason I say that is we have 4 kids and they've all become entrepreneurs now. They all have their own businesses.
Wow.
And it was about a year ago. I get emotional telling this story too. Dang it, Kevin.
I'm making you cry, man.
Pulling it out of me here.
Hey,
So
we need a couch.
I know. So my daughter says, Dad, just so you know, if you hadn't started your business, we wouldn't have had the courage to start our businesses.
Mhm.
I had never thought of it like that. I just knew that I was unemployable. I knew I
Okay.
had to have my own business.
Oh
I
my
didn't
God.
realize the
I'm the
more I
world's worst
talked and
employee,
talked.
man. I'm the
Yeah.
world's worst employee, dude. Trust me. Yeah.
So what I realized was if I wasn't striving to grow
Mhm.
indirectly, I would have been robbing my kids of seeing Dad live out in front of them
Mhm.
where they could go to have their own business. So when you write out what's at stake, like if I don't achieve this income goal, I'm not going to have that beach house I want, and I'm not going to feel the kernels of sand between my wife and I's toes as we walk along the beach with our grandkids. We're going to miss that. So
Mhm.
when you can figure out what it is that you want, but go negative, like what I want, but what I'm going to miss out on, can be extremely powerful. And then what I do is I will have my clients figure out monthly incentives. So just real quick, when I was younger, my worst classes were math and science. And there was this arcade at the mall, and this arcade owner was really smart. He would give
Mhm.
students, if they made an A every 6 weeks, 5 tokens, and he would give students, if they made a B, 3 tokens. So
Mhm.
my sole motivation was getting good grades just to give more tokens to play more video games. Okay, it was very
Yeah.
shallow, but it was very effective.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I realized is all of us are kids, but with older skin.
Yeah.
We're just kids with older skin. We still get motivated by small things. And so on a note card, write out, if I work hard and achieve this goal this month, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the concert. I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to take a good friend to a coffee shop, and then have quarterly bigger goals, because the goal is, even though you're spending money to do it, it's psychologically motivating and exciting. Because if I tell you, just keep doing hard stuff, just do
Mhm.
more hard stuff today, eventually you're going to say, I'm tired of this. And that's why people binge shop, or they suddenly stop doing things. So when you can have a goal of like, okay, it's going to be hard the next 30 days, but I want to go to see Chris Stapleton, or I want to go see you two at the Sphere in Vegas. I'm
Mhm.
going to motivate myself, because then it's the double double. You see,
Mhm.
it's one thing to be in the Sphere hearing you two, how good that's going to feel. But how much better it feels, Kevin, is
Mhm.
knowing that you busted your butt doing the hard things, things that made you feel uncomfortable, things most people wouldn't do, and you crushed that month, and
Mhm.
now you're at that concert. The double double is worth far more than what you can ever expect.
Derrick, man, this has been phenomenal. I appreciate this. I'm gonna end it with this. 'Cause I lied to you. I didn't mean to lie to you. But um, if you could go back and change anything from the start of your career, I'm talking about it could be small, it could be big. What would you tell yourself and what would you change?
Well,
Or
I'll tell
nothing. It
you.
could be nothing. The answer could be nothing. It's
Oh
fine.
no, no, it's a long list, my friend. It's a long list. I'm a highly. One guy told me one time,
Mm.
Derek, remember that people like imperfect people better. He
Yes.
saw me striving to be perfect, and he pulled me aside and, Derek, remember, people like imperfect people better. And that
Mm.
really made a lot of impact on me. Like, people want to work with people relatable to them.
Mm.
It's something I still struggle with today, and that is comparison.
Mm. We all do.
Comparison is the thief of joy, and it often is the thief of my joy. What I find, and this may sound a bit cheesy, but it's very effective, is the moment I begin to compare myself to others, I choose to celebrate others.
Mhm.
For example, if I'm talking to somebody and they share with me, Derek, I've got this big success I want to share with you. Well, part of me just being human is like, well, man, why aren't I doing that? But
Mhm.
instead, don't focus on that. Just say, man, Kevin, I couldn't be prouder of you, man. I'm so happy for you, because people want cheerleaders. There's a lack of cheerleaders and belief in the world. And when you are in the belief camp, I called it my people portfolio in my book. When you've got people that you're choosing to invest in, they remember that.
Yeah.
It's not about, well, you've got more money than me or you've got a better business than me. Dude, people like people who are like, I believe in you. I believe in you. You have what it takes. And when you say those words, even if they fail, they know that you believed in them and you were on the journey with them. So that's what I would say
Mm,
is, and I face it, I'll probably face it today. Oh
mm.
man, I'm comparing. Nope. Instead of comparing, be celebrating that person. It's the antidote for me.
Jealousy and envy are the two most
Oh,
destructive human emotions.
yes,
And
yes, yes.
I will always say, and I always will say, don't be afraid to run your own race. Derrick, thank you for joining the Nine Innings podcast, my friend. This has been awesome. And by the way, we got to go get coffee, man.
We
Again.
do. I enjoyed coffee with you last time. That was a lot of fun, man. Oh yeah, that was great.
Absolutely. Well, hey, appreciate you, my man. Thank you for joining the show. And again, I hope we get to do this maybe sometime in the future.
Oh, thanks for having me, Kevin. I really enjoyed our time together. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We had Derrick Kinney on the call today talking about advisors, talking about building a business, talking about the things that we need to get past so we can move forward. And the one thing I want you to get out from today is jealousy and envy are two destructive human emotions. Yes, they can push you forward, sometimes in a positive way, but the majority of times they can destroy you. It's time for us to all run our own race. No more comparison, just action, actionable items. The ocean's large. We can all grow together. We all can eat. And if you see your brother struggling, reach out a lending hand to help them. We only live one life. It's only one planet. We're all here together. Thank you guys for listening. Derrick, thank you for joining the show. Subscribe to the channel. Go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. You have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@99capitalgroup.com. Send us your questions. Go to the website at www.99capitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, engage, and also entertain. Follow us on all social media channels at 99cap or at MLB to CFP. And subscribe to our Substack. Now what? Derrick Kinney, phenomenal human being. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for giving us some of your time. We appreciate it. Stay humble, stay safe, my friends. I'll see you again soon.